It's called the Golden State because it has a lot of sunshine, Hollywood dreams, and cutting-edge technology. It used to be the American dream come true where anything was possible. But now, a darker story is being told. What was once the brightest spot in the country is now having more than just a slip-up. It's a terrible tragedy. Let's discuss what caused California to fall, its issues, and ways it might be able to get back on its feet. This is not only the story of a state that is worsening, it's also a warning for a country with its own tough times. The Golden State's fall is more than just a lesson. It's a terrible mess that makes me sad to see. This state lived up to the American dream. Now, things are getting worse. What a drop from grace California has been. Let's take a look back and see how far it's come. It's a terrible mess that makes me sad to see. This state lived up to the American dream. Now, things are getting worse. Take a look at how much it has dropped. This starts with people in California being worried and angry about ethnic studies, which started the argument. Many different things make some students and parents dislike the program. People who don't like the program say it's too political because it includes parts of critical race theory. Some people think that this theory's focus on racism and structural oppression makes it more divisive. If you focus on racial and ethnic conflicts and call people oppressors or victims based on their past, people who are against this idea say that it can make students angry. Some religious and social groups are left out or think they are being misrepresented, which is another big problem. For example, Jewish groups were worried about the earlier versions of the program because they didn't cover enough Jewish history and had ideas that were against Jews. Changes were made to deal with these problems, but some critics are still unhappy because they believe the program still has flaws. Some people who don't like ethnic studies also say that it plays favorites with stories, especially those about certain minority groups. They say this can make people see events and society in an unfair way. Some groups of students and parents are against it because of these issues. They are afraid that it will spread political ideas and change the traditional stories of luck and achievement. This state is where Silicon Valley, Hollywood, and the Reagan Revolution all got their start. Now, it's a terrible future with lots of crime, people without homes, and high taxes. Tech billionaires love living in neighborhoods with gates. But middle-class people leave for places like South Dakota and Colorado and Texas. This state snowballed, 1850 31st state. Hollywood was first built in 1911. In 1937, the Golden Gate Bridge opens. In 1956, the first hard drive was made in Silicon Valley, the world's fifth largest economy in 2022. But 500,000 people left the state in just 2 years. Why do so many people leave? More than 500,000 people are leaving California because it costs a lot to live there. Some of the priciest homes in the United States are in California, especially in cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles. Prices are also increasing for schooling, healthcare, and everyday items. Many people are visiting spots where it costs less to live, like Texas, Arizona, and Nevada. The price of living has gone through the roof. Every home in California costs about $785,000. That's 2.3 times the $336,000 that Texas pays. The price of living in a broken state is high. California has one of the highest state income taxes in the country. As tax rates rise, more and more people and businesses move to places with lower tax rates. It is 13.3%. which is the highest state income tax rate in the country. Texas and Florida are 2 of only 9 states that don't have an income tax. A lot of people have left because the government wants to keep what it has. Since 2018, the main offices of over 441 companies are now in states other than California. They really want to go to Texas, Florida, and Tennessee. Even big tech companies are leaving. For example, Elon Musk is moving SpaceX's offices to Texas. Also, X's main office is moving to Austin. Rules that attack families and businesses were what made him give up. People are interested in the new fast food council that Governor Gavin Newsom of California just revealed. To explain, Newsom is currently involved in Panera Gate because he let a wealthy friend off the hook for not following California's new $20 minimum wage law. Greg Flynn, a wealthy friend of Newsom's, is said by the Globe to own more than 20 Panera Bread restaurants in California. He also owns Wendy's, Applebee's, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. The New York Post said Flynn had given Newsom at least $164,800 to help his campaign. California was almost the first state in the country to let fast food workers join a union in 2022. Instead, owners of fast food businesses and franchises agreed to the $20 an hour minimum wage and the state government's creation of a new fast food council under the Department of Industrial Relations. But California law already says that every business has to follow rules about health and safety, hiring, and so on. This group will ensure that all fast food restaurants in California meet certain basic health, safety, and hiring standards. Getting the government bigger and controlling it were the main goals. Lack of homes and homelessness. There are not enough homes in the state, so the prices of homes and rent are very high. This disaster and problems like people not having a place to live have made people want to leave. California's roads and bridges are bad. It took 14 years longer than planned and cost 3 times as much to build a high-speed train. The water crisis, chronic droughts that have gone on for decades with no action. Where does their money go? Let's talk about poor people while we're on the subject of lost money. California has spent $17 billion since 2019 to help people who are homeless, but things keep getting worse. From 2015 to 2022, 56% more people in LA lived on the streets. Does the person who is solving homelessness have a reason to do it? But things get worse. Because of new rules, the slowdown is festering. Pay for fast food workers went up to $20 an hour at the very least in April 2023. Because of this, there will be job losses, businesses closing, and prices going up by 8% in 2 months. Governor Newsom's unelected fast food council is deciding on a 35% pay raise. It's taking more work for them to fail. Not one of the people who used to live there is being quiet. My business was drowning in regulations, says Mike, who is 45 years old. I make 6 figures but can barely afford rent, shares Sarah, who is 32 years old. We want to raise kids somewhere safer, say John and Amy, who are both 38. The news sources can't keep ignoring it. The LA Times says, the California exodus left a huge population gap. The WSJ says, California loses people, business to other states. Is California really going down the drain? Not quite. The cracks are clear though. Peter Thiel brings up an interesting comparison. This man says that the woke religion in California is like Wahhabism in Saudi Arabia. Both of these ideas stop growth and new ideas from taking place. Please don't get the wrong idea. I'm not here to whine about dishonest California leaders or make you cry a river. California needs to be saved, so I'm spreading the word. You can find some of the best places in America, 9 national parks and mountains that are over 1,000 years old there. We need to do something together. No amount of running away will help. Making things worse with money doesn't work either. California needs smart and reasonable people to make changes. California has more wildfires, droughts, and earthquakes than other states, which makes it less desirable to live there for a long time. People have moved to better areas because wildfires have done a lot of damage. Job market changes. Many professionals and tech workers have learned that they can work from anywhere since working from home became more popular, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. They were able to leave California for places with a lower cost of living because of this. Fear of crime and danger. People are moving out of some California towns because crime rates are going up, and people are worried about their safety. People leave California because of a number of problems that affect cost of living, quality of life, and economic security. Now, here is a more detailed list of what went wrong and how it can be fixed. 1. Take real steps to end homelessness. California has a very high rate of people who are homeless in the US. The main reason for this is that there isn't enough addiction, mental health, or cheap housing. People worry about the health, safety, and quality of life of homeless people in places like Los Angeles and San Francisco. They also worry about the quality of life of people who live there and people who don't. Things to do: spend money on long-term supportive homes. People who live in this kind of living can get help with things like mental and drug abuse, which can help them get back on their feet and join society again. Programs that help people stay homeless should get more money. Supporting programs that help people stay housed, like those that help with rent or find cheap housing, can keep people from becoming homeless in the first place. Make it easier for people to get help with mental health and addiction. These people need more than just a place to stay. These groups could help a lot of people who are homeless if they were bigger. 2. Add more cheap housing options. Prices for homes in California are much higher than the national average, which is why the market is known for being very expensive. Because of strict zoning rules, high building costs, and a slow permitting process, it's getting harder and harder for middle and low-income families to find cheap homes in the state. Yes, changes to the rules about zoning. It should be easier to build high-density housing, but some zoning rules make that hard. This is especially true in places where housing demand is high. Upzoning multifamily units can lower the prices of houses by making more of them available. Help people understand the rules and permits. More affordable homes can be built. Make it easy to get a building permit. Lessen the amount of paperwork that building projects need. It takes longer and costs more. Give tax breaks or other financial help to companies that build cheap housing. This is especially important in places with a high housing need. Laws that limit rent and pay owners a fair amount of money. While rent control can help keep costs low, it's also important to give landlords reasons to keep putting money into rental homes. This could be shown by tax breaks or rules that aren't as strict, which help keep rents low. 3. Rules that will help little companies. Many people believe that California's business rules are too strict, especially for small businesses. Rules about the environment, job laws that are hard to understand, and expensive permits make it hard for small businesses to grow. Because of this, many businesses have moved to places with better business climates. Things to do. Rules for businesses should be made easy to understand. Rules should be streamlined to help small businesses with their paperwork. Putting together permits can save businesses money and make it easy for them to follow job and environmental laws. It costs less to start and run a business. Small and new businesses should be able to get tax breaks or free stuff. If it is easy to get cash and less expensive to run a business, the economy will grow faster and more people will start their own businesses. Small businesses and people who work in the gig economy need your help. Statutes like California's Assembly Bill 5, AB 5, which turns freelancers into workers, impact many small businesses. This is especially true in the gig economy, which includes things like freelancing and driving. These rules need to be changed to protect workers while still giving companies room to move. This would be good for gig workers and the businesses that need them. 4. Changes to taxes that will help people and companies. People and businesses in California pay a lot of taxes. Some of the highest income taxes in the country are in this state. Some taxes help the government, but they also make it hard for people and businesses to get by. Because of this, many people and companies have been leaving the state. Things to do. People in the middle class should pay less income tax. Cutting taxes for middle-class people would also bring down the cost of living in the whole state. If taxes were spread more fairly, California would be a better place to live. Tax changes for companies. The rates on business taxes should go down, or businesses that stay in California should get tax credits. Firms would be unable to move to places with better tax laws. Changes to the property tax. If home prices keep going up, homeowners should not lose their homes to rising costs. This means that property taxes should be changed. Changes to sales tax. The state's high sales tax hurts people with low incomes more than it hurts others. If the state cuts its sales tax or doesn't tax some things that people need, everyone in California can afford to live there. That being said, to stop so many people from leaving California, you need to do more than one thing: improve living conditions, lower housing costs, support small businesses, and change taxes. A lot of people are leaving California because of all of these places. There are complete long-term answers that California could use to keep its residents and bring in new ones. This plan would lower the cost of living in the state and make life better for people who already live there. Still, it would also make it more appealing to businesses, families, and people looking for opportunities. California isn't really dead yet, but it needs help to stay alive. This comes from someone who loves Santa Barbara, San Diego, San Francisco, and Encinitas. Cali used to be a very important spot on the map, but it's clear that the people currently in charge cannot fix these problems. Today's teens and young adults need to step up and take charge.